Stuart, it all went well for you.
Stevie, it did. It went better than expected now, to be honest. It was a huge success. I felt it was, anyhow.
When you first started out, you were saying 100 kilometres in 23 hours, starting 11 a.m. from Saturday morning, finishing at 10 a.m. on the Sunday morning. What was going through your mind the hour before you started?
I'm not one who kind of dwells too deeply on things, maybe I don't give enough consideration to things, but certainly the hour before when I got there and they were setting up a marquee, the Irish Wheelchair Association were setting up various stands, the sponsorship boards were going up. I arrived in with Paddy O'Shea and John Hayes, and I suppose at that point my mind started to go onto the task ahead and all, so I was a little bit nervous. I'm uncomfortable maybe in front of crowds and everything, so I was conscious there was going to be a good number of people there starting off and all that. So
you had a good team behind you, didn't you?
It was incredible. Yeah, I had Paddy O'Shea and John Hayes. They looked after all the logistics, so the food, the sleep, and the rest, all of those things. Irish Wheelchair Association, Josephine and Derry were phenomenal. Our own club, Arlo Ladies, and St Michael's and Canon Hayes couldn't have done enough for us in the day, you know.
At what stage now? I know the weather was quite poor, but at what stage did the wall hit you?
I think it was at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that one on the Saturday evening. A group of friends from Moore Abbey Milers came in to support me and run around the track. At that stage the track had got very wet. It was windy. I think it was around the time Munster were actually playing, and there was just sheets of rain, and at that time I had a good friend Keith Hogan running with me as well at that time, and I just thought I could be in trouble here a little bit, because I actually came through a marathon at that stage. That was the completion of the marathon around that time, and it was challenging. And if the weather had stayed, Stevie, that way for the night, it would have made it very, very difficult.
It would have made it an awful lot more difficult for you, but the weather got, I won't say a bit milder, but it dried up a little bit.
It did, yeah. It was very unusual, because the wind stopped, the rain stopped. So we were able, we actually ran past here a couple of times. We came off the track, say from 10 o'clock at night, because just the track was really wet.
Just to break it up?
And break it up for myself as much as anything. And we started running out as far as Duns and Amber on the Bancher Road. And the night was actually, it was a fabulous night. It was really quiet and peaceful and everything. So it just made it that little bit easier for myself, I think.
Yeah, and we'll take it forward in maybe to about 5 or 6 in the morning. Yeah. And no brightness coming through for another couple of hours. Mentally, how were you feeling?
Mentally, I think once I got to 5 or 6, it was very manageable. I'm a big believer in motivation and what motivates your internal drivers as well. And I think maybe earlier on in the night I was able to kind of draw on those a little bit more. Once I got to 5 or 6, it was actually okay. I have a recollection of running in past the Limerick Road at about 5 in the morning. I thought I could hear birds starting to sing. And that to me was the dawn was nearly breaking at that stage. So
they were helping you?
Yeah, it was a lovely, and there was an owl up in St Michael's as well that had come in overnight. So just those small little things. So once I got to 5 or 6, my own family came in, Martina came in with the girls. And at that point, it wasn't done, but in my head, it was a lot more manageable. Once I got to 20k left, it was, I was comfortable getting home then, I felt.
It was kind of strange in a way, because the weather never let up really then, and the following day it kind of started raining again, or that morning early, about 9, half 9, the rain started to come again in dribs and drabs, but it didn't put people off. A lot of people turned up. Again, it was the grand finale.
It was, and it was great, because I think for me it was easier, because I had signed up for this. This was the gig that I was going to do, and I knew the weather could come or go at this time of year, especially because it's a real dark and murky time of year, and that was the motivation maybe for doing it at this time of year. But for people to come out and support it, it was a lot more difficult, I think, to get up from the breakfast table and come in at whatever 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. There was huge support there that morning. Jesus, incredible turnout.
Dr. Kathleen O'Sullivan, she did speak to you when we had our first preview of this.
She did.
And she said, Stuart, you need a bit of sleep. Did you get any?
I think I got about 5 minutes.
I don't think you did.
Maybe not. I felt I drifted for 5 minutes.
But hopefully you did, because you needed it.
I did, and Kathleen was very good. Even she was there the Saturday morning and again the Sunday morning. She'd look after my welfare. That'd be paramount to her. And she felt that I needed sleep. But I felt my heart rate was so high after going in after an hour or 20-25 minutes of running that I couldn't actually settle to sleep within the hour. So, but I was resting up. Every time I'd rest for half an hour, I'd lie in a bed. So.
When you come into the dressing rooms above in St Michael's, I met you. Your daughter came in to shake hands with you. I think it was a lovely, lovely moment.
Yeah, that was yeah, it was. Actually, they were great
It was
throughout
a personal touch, wasn't it?
It was nice, and now that same daughter, she was roused from slumber at 5:15 on Sunday morning. She wasn't too happy, I think, to get out of the bed at that time. Like, whereas I think my eldest daughter, my older daughter Nessa, kind of motivated her to come in and all. But they were a big part of it. Like, even the training beforehand, it was actually lovely to be able to run with them for the 4K in the lead up to it, because they were able to do it at the pace I was doing it.
After everything you went through, physically, mentally, and emotionally, did you sleep when you went home?
I did. I slept for an hour when I went home, and I got up. St Thomas's were playing Loughlin Gales in the club final, so I actually got up and watched the second half of that match.
How did you feel?
I felt grand. I was a small little bit stiff in the hips and the glutes, and took my stomach a day or so to settle down. But like, really, I was really surprised how well I came out of it. I was back doing what I do normally then on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the week, and my normal sleep cycle recovered straight away. So I had no difficulty.
Would you do something like that again?
I was thinking, it was already put to me, Stevie, that next year I'll do a 100 mile in 24 hours, but I don't know. I prefer the shorter, quicker stuff. Like, but it was fantastic. Like, and our thanks to on behalf of Arlo Ladies Gaelic Football Club and the Irish Wheelchair Association, the support we received was phenomenal. Yourselves and Tip Midwest, the coverage that you gave it as well, like, it really blew it up, and I think there was a real novelty factor to it as well. So it was a tremendous success. But whether I'll do it again, Stevie, I don't know. Maybe that's for another day.
It certainly is. Stuart, well done.
Stevie, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.